Welcome to this deep stretch yin yoga flow where we'll focus on releasing tension and gaining flexibility. We'll hold the poses for 3 minutes each today, and we'll incorporate stronger transitions which will help us feel this contrast between strengthening and stretching. Welcome back to Devi Daily Yoga, where it's not about how your yoga looks, it's all about how it feels. This session is designed to stretch and stimulate your muscles and joints to their fullest potential, promoting a sense of increased mobility and deep relaxation. When we stretch the body in a yin yoga pose, what we're actually doing is pulling the joint apart in a slow and therapeutic way. And if we then re-engage the muscle, what we're doing is the opposite. We're hugging the joint back into itself. And when we work in this way in a yin context, we are really optimizing the healing and repair processes that are happening in the joints and in the tissues. As we move through the practice, remember to honor your body and modify the poses as needed. See if you can find that sweet spot where you're stretching deeply without any discomfort or pain. You won't need any props today. Just find a quiet spot where you can relax and sink into the practice beginning right now. Begin in child's pose, with the knees about hips width apart or a little bit wider to whatever degree is comfortable for you. Forehead on the floor. Use a block under the forehead if you'd like. And feel the palms on the floor. Feel the fronts of the legs, fronts of the shins and feet on the floor. And now take a big breath into your back body. And a big exhale. And another deep breath in to puff up the middle, upper, lower back. Exhale. Feel the forehead sinking down, hands, forearms sinking down. One more big inhale. And with this exhale, letting go of whatever you don't need for this practice right now, dedicating this time to yourself. And now taking it into side stretching child's pose, lift the head and take the hands over toward the right side edge of the mat, left hand on top of the right, and sink back down. Your forehead may or may not come down to touch the ground. What we're focusing on is stretching into the left side of the torso, the left ribs, the left waist, and the left armpit perhaps. You can gently pull back with your left hip. And breathe into the left side. And now lifting back up, walk the hands over to the other side, right hand on top of the left. Relaxing down gently, drawing back through the right hip. And feel the expansion of the right armpit, the right ribs, and the right waist. And breathe into the right side of your body. And slowly come back to the center. Lifting up hands and knees. Inhale into cow pose and tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog, preparing for our first strong transition. Let's shift it forward into plank pose. Shoulders line up over the wrists and take 3 breaths here. And as you hold, hug the belly in toward the spine and press back through the heels. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Engage the fronts of the thighs so that your thighs lift up toward the sky. Inhale here. And as you exhale, drop the knees and lower down onto the belly. And taking 3 baby cobras. Inhale, no weight in the hands. You could hover the hands. And exhale, touch the forehead to the ground. And again, inhale. So engaging the muscles we just stretched in child's pose. And last time, lift up. And exhale. And press the hips up and back into child's pose. And now strengthening the arms here by lifting up the palms, fingertips press into the ground, hollow out your armpits. Inhale the breath. And exhale. Coming up now to hands and knees. And preparing for dragon pose. Let's tuck the toes under, take it into downward facing dog. And we'll come into our dragon pose from a 3-legged dog, first lifting the left leg up and back. Press strong into the arms, inhale the breath. And as you exhale, bend the knee, take the leg forward, and drop your back knee down onto the ground. Take both hands on the inside of the foot, and hold your dragon pose here. As you stretch into the front of your right thigh and the front of your right hip. And see if you can find the back bend here as you take your next breath in, letting the heart become buoyant, the crown of the head lifting effortlessly. And as you exhale, the leg stretching, lengthening. Steady, even breath. For the second half of our time in the pose, option to take it down into gecko on one or both elbows. You could always use a block under the elbows. And notice how the sensation shifts if you take this variation. Maybe a little more sensation in the front leg along with the back leg stretch. And you could wing out the left knee if that feels good to your hips. Breathe. Melting into the pose, softening through the hips. And slowly now rising up. Moving through a vinyasa, tuck your back toes under, step it back to plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale the breath. Now you can drop the knees as we did before, or come into a chaturanga push-up. And we'll lower to the floor and come up into Cobra Pose. Inhale. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And lift the sitting bones way up high in downward dog. Press strong into the arms. As you lift your right leg up high, three-legged. Inhale. And as you exhale, step forward onto the front of the mat. Drop the back knee, both hands on the inside of the front foot for Dragon Pose, second side. Finding the steadiness of your breath here. And breathe into the front of your left thigh and the front of your left hip. And allowing each exhale to help you soften a little more into this shape. Allow each inhale to help you find some length in the heart, the ribs lengthening forward, the shoulders gently softening down the back. And again, option for the second half of our time in the pose to come down to gecko. And optionally wing out the right knee. Wherever you are, soften here through the hips. Notice where you feel tension, where you feel resistance. And allow your mind to relax as you send your breath into that place. Honoring your body. Finding the stretch that feels deep without any discomfort or pain. Deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly come out of the pose. Step back once again to move through a vinyasa. Optionally, you could skip it, come straight to downward dog. Otherwise, we're coming into plank. And again, your choice if you drop the knees first or not. And this time, upward dog or cobra. So hips can be down on the floor or staying up on the hands. Inhale, lift your gaze, roll your shoulders back, and exhale into downward dog. Noticing how it feels to do these strengthening transitions. You can walk the legs here in dog as you press strongly into your arms. What is the effect on the thighs, the legs, the hips? This long stretching, alternating with strengthening. Let's take the left leg up and back. Inhale. And as you exhale, bend the left foot, pulling the foot in toward the glutes and opening the hip up. You could peek under your left arm. We're moving towards sleeping swan now, taking the knee forward toward the top of the mat. And you could keep your hips square in a traditional pigeon-like stance, or you could take the deer variation where we bring the back knee up and come forward in this fashion. Your choice. Maybe coming down onto the elbows, maybe resting the head on the hands, or maybe extending the arms out in front of you. And feel free to use props, cushion or block under the forehead or under the left hip. And we're looking for this stretch in the left glutes. So you can shift your hips right or left. You can shift the position of your front foot or knee till you find the stretch that feels good. And if there's any knee pain, then do explore the deer variation instead, allowing the hips to be asymmetrical instead of squared. Wherever you are, find a deep breath to expand into the back of the body, mid-back, lower back, left glutes. As you exhale, releasing and softening through the glutes, through the back. Each breath is an invitation to enter more deeply into the pose. And from the place where you are, see if you can find any place of resistance that you can soften simply with a thought, simply by directing your awareness to that place, simply by inviting it to soften. And slowly rising up now. And as you come up, plant your hands firmly under your shoulders. We're going to lift up, getting the weight onto the back right knee and taking it into a side stretching gate pose where the knee comes under and the left arm is out, the left leg is out to the side. Extend your left arm up and over. This is choice number one. Choice number two is side plank, slipping the right foot underneath the left or staggering the feet. Whichever pose you're in, peeling the left shoulder back, lengthening through the whole left side of the body, and feeling the muscles of the whole core hugging in toward the spine, toward the pelvis. Lift the hips a little bit higher, whichever variation you're in. And let's fall over into a plank pose. Inhale the breath. Optional vinyasa or downward dog, with or without the knees if you're coming down, and up into your back bend. Downward facing dog. And breathe here. Big breath into the back body. Open the mouth to exhale. Good, next inhale lifts your right leg up and bend the knee. Foot comes toward the glutes. Open the right hip up, knee up toward the sky. Peek under the right armpit. As you exhale, take this knee forward for sleeping swan or deer pose. Inhale, and as you exhale, find your way forward. 3 minutes in your variation of the posture to stretch into the right glutes. Noticing if there's any difference from right side to left side. And in this practice, we like to honor the differences between the two sides of the body because nobody's body is 100% symmetrical. Nobody's bones, nobody's skeleton is completely symmetrical. So if there's a little bit of difference, adjust as needed. Sending love to whatever part of your body needs it in this moment. Softening whatever part of your body needs it in this moment. And slowly releasing as you come up, tucking the back toes and taking it into our side gate pose, getting the left knee under you, right leg extends out to the side and the right arm extends up and over. Maybe you're staying here, maybe coming into side plank, stacking right foot on top of the left. Gazing up at the sky, rolling the right shoulder blade back, and lifting up through the hips a little bit more, feeling the core pulling in toward itself around the spine. The abdominals are strong, the hips are strong, the thighs are strong. Inhale your breath here, and let's take it into our plank pose. Inhale, with or without the knees, coming down, and cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And walk the legs, downward dog. One heel down and then the other, bending one knee and then the other. And now let's drop the knees and come down onto the belly into Sphinx. We'll do half our time in Sphinx, half our time in Seal. as usual, but if you'd like to be in seal for the whole time or Sphinx for the whole time, this is your practice. Legs can be whatever distance apart is comfortable for you. It'll be more intense if you bring your legs closer together. And with your inhale, can you feel a rising up of the crown of your head? As you exhale, can you soften the skin of the shoulders down the back? And the inhale opens the chest forward. And the exhale softens the tailbone down towards the earth. And can you also soften the skin of the lowest part of your belly as it makes contact with the floor? And can you sense the gentleness of this contact of the tops of your feet on the floor? And notice what's happening in the body at this moment. Knowing this body. Halfway through, option now to widen the hands and lift up into your version of seal. You could walk the hands closer in for more intensity or walk the hands farther forward for less intensity. And slowly now, releasing back down. Rest your forehead on your hands for a moment. Deep breath into the back of the body. And exhale. Let's bring the elbows back under the shoulders. Come into a 1-minute forearm plank, where your hands could be clasped or your palms could be on the earth. 1 minute might seem like a long time. You can rest whenever you need to, but a trick to stay here is to shift your weight around a little bit, forward and back, side to side, and that helps so that you don't exhaust the same exact muscles for the whole time. And we can also think about hugging the navel in toward the spine, drawing the tailbone down toward the heels, and then lifting the fronts of the thighs up toward the sky. Maybe the gaze comes forward a few inches. Shoulders roll down the back. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. Well done. Let's take it into frog pose now. Frog pose, we take the knees as wide as the mat to begin, and the feet together, and we can feel out this tadpole pose. We're going for a stretch in the groin, in the inner thigh. So if you're not getting enough stretch here, then you can go ahead and go wider. And if your knees are coming off your mat, you might want to bring a blanket under them to get extra padding. And the feet can stay closer, or they can come farther apart. Just play around with the angles that are right for your body. And if you do not enjoy this pose, there's always the wall frog as an alternative. Enjoy is kind of a subjective term in yin. I talk to my students a lot about this, and some people don't find any of the poses enjoyable. The deep stretching to them is sort of they'd use a different word than enjoy. And other people, it's just complete bliss. Those of us who spend a lot of time doing yin yoga, we tend to be on the bliss end of that continuum. As you stretch into your inner thighs here, take a deep breath into the legs, into the groin, into this underbelly. This very deep part of the body. Knowing it's safe to soften here in this context of our slow therapeutic practice. Deep breath in. As you exhale, can you soften a little more into the pose? And can you send the breath deep into the belly and this place where the groin and the front of the pelvis meet, the lower belly and the whole lower bowl of the pelvis. Take a deep breath right into this area and exhale and soften this entire area. And slowly releasing your frog pose, carefully extract yourself and cross your ankles to come back into a seated position and right into our next strengthening journey, which is boat pose. Lifting up, bend in the knees is just fine. Inhale here. As you exhale, carefully see if you can bring your upper body closer back toward the floor, just a few inches, and lift back up, bringing the ribs and the knees toward one another. And exhale, challenging yourself, maybe a little farther, bringing the back of the ribs toward the floor, and zip it up. Whoop. And we'll do this one more time. Lengthening and zipping it up. Zippity-doo-dah. Let's take the feet to the floor, hands underneath the shoulders, and lift up into tabletop. Inhale here. And exhale, lower the hips down. And now, taking the peace sign fingers around the big toes, walk your feet in, and just see if you can balance on your sitting bones. Just a little bit of fun time here. Maybe one foot can think about extending. Maybe the other foot can think about extending. Maybe both feet can think about extending. Ooh, yep. I didn't think I could stay there either. Let's take the legs forward and come into an upward facing plank pose, sending the heads back, Head, you only have one head. Inhale. And as you exhale, lower your hips down, come right into caterpillar pose. Drape yourself forward over your legs and rest here. Hands can be on the floor, on the shins, or on the feet. Option to use a cushion under your seat to get more out of this. And feeling this nice full body stretch of the backs of the legs and the back of the torso, all the way up to the base of the neck and the base of the skull, all the way down over the hamstrings and the calves. And your next breath inflates the entire back body. And your next exhale releases any unneeded tension in the back body. Can you send the breath into the sides of the body, the sides of the hips, the back of the body, and the back of the hips? Knowing that there's nothing else to do except to relax right here, right now. Slowly rising up out of caterpillar and coming into a lying down position. Take a moment to feel the effects of the forward bend on your body. Deep breath in. Big exhale. It's almost time for Shavasana, but not quite yet. We've got one strong move, one yang move, and then one more spinal twist. So let's take the hands under the buttocks, palms facing down, and extend the legs up, coming into leg hinges. Lift your head up, flex your feet, and slowly lower the legs down. What we're looking for is this slow lowering, and then hover when the angle feels particularly interesting in your lower back. Good. Bend the knees, bring it in, let the head rest down for a moment as you extend your legs up. Lift the head as you flex your feet. Inhale, engage the abdominals and lower slowly down once again. Finding that challenging angle to hold the legs and hover them there. And then bend the knees in, rest the head down one last time. Extend the legs up, flex the feet, lift the head, engage abdominals, lower the legs down. Hovering where it's challenging. Inhale and exhale, lower all the way down, preparing for our final spinal twist. Any version of spinal twist that your body is calling for today, both knees to the right or right leg straight, left knee bent, or cat's tail pose if that's your jam. Taking it for 3 minutes on each side, whatever pose you are in. Option to cross the top knee over the left if you have both knees bent. Wherever you have landed, take a deep breath into your spine and into your back. Exhale, relax your spine. Bringing a softening, easy energy into the discs between the vertebrae. And relaxing into the large muscles of the trunk. We're stretching here our obliques or our side bodies. Stretching the muscles between the rib cage called the intercostal muscles. Stretching into the quadratus lumborum of the lower back. And all the many muscles that weave up and down the spine, all the many pieces of fascia that knit the spine together. So breathing into the beautiful dance of muscle, fascia, and bone that help this body to thrive. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Releasing the twist now, bring the knees up to the center and let them slowly come over to the second side. Making any small micro adjustments so that your body feels like it's in a restful position within this stretch. Finding the balance between relaxation and feeling the intensity of a deep stretch. And now sensing into the parts of the spine that are creating the sensation now, the discs between the vertebrae. And the vertebrae themselves, the bones that are kind of rubbing against each other, especially in the middle back, the part that's connected to your rib cage. There are many different surfaces of the spine that come together. And here we just kind of stimulate all these surfaces and say, hey, here's some mobility, here's a little bit of movement to remind you that you can do this. Helping to keep these tissues healthy. Let's take a deep breath into the whole spine, the marvel of the body. And exhale from the spine, allowing it to soften deeper into the body. Knowing that there is nothing you need to do here but breathe. Slowly bring the knees back up to center and very slowly make your way into Shavasana for your final relaxation. Spread your body out in a comfortable position. Let the back of the neck be long. Let the legs be comfortably separated. Let the arms rest at a comfortable angle from the body so your shoulders are totally relaxed. And into this body that's just been stretched and stimulated and strengthened in this alternating way of exploring. Let's inhale deeply. Exhale. And another big breath in. And another big breath out. Feeling this energy that has been stimulated and awakened. Noticing, just observing where it wants to go. Where does your body want to buzz or hum or vibrate? Where is this energy visiting? And what else is arising? Breathing steady and smooth into this vessel, this sacred vessel, this body, this heart. And now slowly stretching out through the arms and the fingers, and stretch down through the legs and the feet. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms up and over the head. Stretch down through the opposite end at the feet as you inhale. And as you exhale, bring the arms back down, bend your knees, and roll onto the side. And very slowly round your spine to lift yourself up into a seated position. And sit with your spine tall. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And chanting Om 3 times to close this session. You can chant the mantra silently inside your mind or out loud. Let's begin with an inhale. And feel the vibration of the eternal sound as it reverberates within your body, within your heart, and around your body. And that closes today's session. Thank you so much for spending your time on the mat with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a note below if you have any comments. I love connecting with you all in the comments section. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you hear about my next video. Thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.